This afternoon. I guess we'll get started when courtroom 2 gets on with us.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ACDC. Officer Milton. Can we start with you all? We don't have courtroom 2 on with us as of yet.
I don't have the position numbers. I have Miss Young, who is accomplice. Oh, there's an echo. Miss, what's her name? Miss McLeod is for Miss Young, and Randicia D is Miss Tucker.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Harrison. And did you? Oh, go ahead, Ms. Harrison.
I was gonna say, Ms. Young's case has been NOD'd.
Oh, all right. You hear that? NOD. All right. Miss Dean,
Okay.
have a seat here.
And good afternoon, Ms. Dean. This is position number 3, I believe. My name is Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize her service. Ms. Dean, you have been charged in case 25 CR 003581F with battery, simple battery, and criminal trespass. Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
Judge, you waiting on me?
Yes,
I'm sorry, who are we on? What number?
we're position number 3, Ms. Dean.
6 on probation, possession of marijuana. Um, got an open case out of car for battery trespass. Open case out of Woodstock with Cherokee County for a fray. Crossing state county guard lines with drugs or weapons without consent. Oh, that's enforcing. 25 PI 00691. 2025 probation, 2018 marijuana dismissed.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Harrison.
Yes, Your Honor. On June 25th, officers responded to a fight call at 330 Winding River Drive, Unit D. On dispatch, they could hear active arguing in the background of the call. When officers arrived on the scene, the defendant had left the location but was located nearby at a closed business by other officers. Officers spoke with the victim, Mr. Stanley Eugene, who stated that the defendant is his girlfriend. He's never lived with her and they don't share any children. They were involved in a physical altercation because he was working all day. He came home late from work, and his girlfriend had texted him repeatedly throughout the day, but his phone only gets service on Wi-Fi. So he never saw any of her text messages due to being at work, and that led to an argument. One of the texts, the defendant stated she was going to beat Mr. Eugene up. And when he arrived at the house and walked up the stairs, she began yelling at him and started hitting him. And at one point, when she struck him, she actually knocked one of his teeth out of his mouth. Officers did observe blood on the floor downstairs and in the bathroom. And the victim did inform officers that this was his blood. Officers did note that the bedroom was in disarray. There was a table flipped over, items thrown everywhere, including a broken statue, a shark statue that was Mr. Eugene's, that was shattered. And the defendant actually threw that statue at the victim. And police then subsequently placed her under arrest. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, Your Honor. We're asking for a stay away from the victim, a stay away from his residence, no contact at all, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And we'll sound for Mr. Eugene in the event that he's joined us in court, Your Honor, but we have not made contact with him today. That'll be all for the state.
If Mr. Stanley Eugene is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Ms. Tucker, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ms. Dean is 26 years of age. She's maintained the same residential address for 10 years. She's completed some college, focusing in radiology tech. She is currently not employed at the moment. We have no objections to a stay away from the incident location, as well as no contact with the alleged victim, Mr. Eugene. However, we are requesting a signature bond on Ms. Dean's behalf. She's currently not employed and would not be able to make bond, a $3,000 surety bond today. So we are requesting a signature bond for her.
And Your Honor, the state does just want to note that the defendant does have an open battery case out of Cobb County. I wasn't able to pull the details for it, but in light of that and the severity of this incident, we are opposed to a signature bond.
For the battery, it'll be a $1,000 good bond. For each of the other charges, a $500 good bond makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. 3 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Eugene, stay away from his residential address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Dean. Hold on, you on mute there, so we can't hear you, Ms. Dean. You have a right to remain silent, Ms. I'm happy to let you speak with Ms. Tucker after court if you need to ask her something, but I don't want you to speak on the case at this time, okay?
Thank you. What's the bond amount, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
In a total 2,000 good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. And I believe we're completing ACDC today, Officer Milton. Okay, thank you. Have a good afternoon. Good afternoon, courtroom 2. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Let's see, who do we have first there?
Good afternoon, Judge. We can start with position 1.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Bronsack. You've been charged in case 25 CR 003582Y with 3 counts of simple battery family violence. It's my understanding that this is her first arrest. Who's presenting for the state?
That's me, Judge.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. And there should be, I'm not sure if it came in, Deputy Falk added a simple battery charge for this case. It may not have made it in time for the filing deadline.
Okay, I have 3 simple battery family violence on the calendar. Is there additionally a regular simple battery?
There should be. Let me check and make sure it's on there, Judge. I don't see it. But we'll be proceeding with these charges as of now. All right.
Okay, you can proceed. Thank you.
All right. So this incident took place yesterday, June 25th, 2025, at 57 Rumson Way in Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute call. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the defendant, Miss Talia Bonsack, who explained that the victim, her fiance, and her had gotten into an argument regarding remodeling their home and rearranging items in different rooms. The officer initially informed them that it was a civil matter. And as officers were leaving, Mr. MacArthur, who is the victim here, ran outside yelling that she punched him and stated that she grabbed him by the arm and then struck him in the stomach with her fist. The defendant admitted to pushing him in the stomach out of frustration over the renovations, and the defendant was taken into custody. We have spoken with the victim in this case. He stated that he and the defendant have been together for 1 year and that he's not afraid of her. They just closed on a home. He says he wants contact. He doesn't want to proceed with the charges and wants her to come back home. However, with this incident happening only yesterday, there hasn't been a sufficient cooling off period, so the state is recommending a no further contact and stay away. He explained the defendant had been on a 12-day girls trip and was upset because he took some of the furniture belonging to her to do some renovations because the house was closed. It was built in the 30s. He builds houses. The victim stated that he tried to resolve the situation, that things got heated over that, and the defendant would not stop. Her father was trying to call her, and she would not speak to him. And she initially said she was going to call the police. She didn't. As things continued to escalate, he was like, I'm going to call the police. And they came out, and he confirmed with us that the defendant did hit the victim and punched him in the stomach. And apparently officers heard this as well while they were walking away. The defendant has recently come down from Manhattan, New York, to live with the victim. So the state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, family violence intervention program, no further contact with Joshua MacArthur. Stay away from 57 Rumson Way, Northeast Atlanta. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And let's see the as well. Yeah, we would want to sound for the victim at this time. Thank you.
Mr. MacArthur, if you're on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. And is this, if you'll need to, you're not driving, are you, sir?
No, I'm parked. I'm at work.
Okay, very
I'm in
good.
yeah.
Can you? Okay, you're fine. You're fine. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure that you weren't driving,
Yeah.
sir. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, sir. What would you like to tell the court?
I think Patty had been under a lot of stress moving cities. She had just gotten back from a trip that had been planned for almost 2 years. Preceding that, she had a week of work training for her new job here in Atlanta and Nashville. Preceding that, she had a week of training in Boston, and preceding that was a huge move from Manhattan to Atlanta. I think she was under a lot of stress and wanted to come home and relax. And she got upset when I did not have the furniture put back together. No furniture was removed. It was just the bed had to be taken apart and rug rolled up, when you get your hardwood floors redone. And I hadn't completed putting it back together yet. And for whatever reason, it set her off. And it's bear out a character for her. She's been a great friend, girlfriend, fiance. Never happened before. Yeah, Yeah,
So you're not
she's
afraid
a
of?
great person. No, she's a hardworking professional. I think it just kind of got out of hand, and sleep deprivation and stress. It just kind of, I don't know. I believe that's what happened because this is nothing like. None, we've been dating for a little over a year, but I've known her for 10 years, and nothing like this has ever occurred.
Thank you, Ms. McCarthy. I appreciate you being here this afternoon.
Yeah, and she is my fiance, so I was just gonna ask how long is it the stay away order gonna be?
I haven't ordered to stay away as of yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Bonsack is 39 years of age. She did provide the residential address, which is the same as the incident location at 57 Rumson Way. She has her bachelor's degree in marketing, and she's worked in pharmaceutical sales for the last 16 years. We are objecting to the state's recommendation for a stay away from the residential location. It is her residence. Her name is on the lease as well. Like he said, they just closed on this place. She just relocated from Manhattan to the Atlanta area, so she wouldn't have any alternative means or anywhere else to live in this area. We're also asking that they be allowed to have contact and ask the court to order no violent contact, as it's been reported by the alleged victim. They've had no prior incidents of this nature, no other violent history between the two. And we have no objection to the state's recommendation to the signature bond, as it is her first arrest. She has no other criminal history.
Thank you. Mr. Sirocco, have you been able to confirm with Ms. Falk that there are only these three charges? I don't want there to be a fourth that we don't catch today.
This was
Falk, are you on the
a
line with
late
us?
addition. She may be in competency also. I
Okay,
believe that may still be going on. I can confirm and get back.
okay.
I
I want to make
as
sure.
of yet, but could we come back to it? I'll make sure it's added. It's very brief.
Okay, well, I want to make sure that before we close court today, that whatever charges I address with her so that she is not stuck in jail and have to come back tomorrow. So
Absolutely.
for the three charges that are on the calendar will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 2 days of anger awareness. No further violent contact with Mr. MacArthur, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor, I have a question. I guess it's towards the state. Andrews was on our pull sheet again, but he's not on the calendar, and he wasn't on felony calendar today as well. So I'm not sure what. I don't want to riverside anything like that to happen.
Your Honor, the Adonis Andrews case, the DA's office, when I reached out to them, the person who's my normal contact declined to address the case because he had represented the defendant as a public defender, which is actually what led to the defendant becoming a recidivist for theft by shoplifting. So the state reached out to APD today and asked them to take out a felony warrant, which they are in the process of doing. So it will be on the felony first appearance tomorrow as a felony warrant. And we, at that point, will dismiss the misdemeanor warrant. Courtroom 2, did you get all that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And Ms. Park, while I have you there real quick, on position number 1, was there another charge added to this case?
Your Honor, I did instruct my team to amend to add another charge. However, I'm not sure if if it filed down, and I'm not sure if Ms. Rogers was notified. What we'll need to do, and I did let ASG Sirocco know in the chat just now, if he had not already filed it, we can wait until tomorrow. If he has already filed it, I would just go ahead and do a bond on that charge as well. It can't hurt.
Well, we've already heard the case, so if it's not filed down, I don't want her to be in the jail if she received a signature bond on the other charges.
It's not, Judge, and I can add it tomorrow and it won't affect her release.
Thank you. Who do we have next?
Can I ask you a question? When can I expect her to be released?
In the next
Tyler?
24 hours, you'll need to contact the jail to see when she's going to actually be released, sir.
Okay. And just a
right.
signature bond is, do I need to have money?
No, sir. She
Okay.
will be able to
Okay.
sign herself out. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate
You're welcome.
your time. Thank
You're
you, sir.
welcome, sir.
So I got a question. Is she coming back tomorrow?
She's gonna be released, so no.
Okay.
So wait, I just
All
want
right.
clarification. They're just adding this charge to the actual case tomorrow, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Next is position 2, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. You've been charged in case 25 CR 003580G with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and giving false information to law enforcement. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
43. Last arrest I saw was 2009 for Porter.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. On June 23rd, officers observed the defendant loitering on state property located at Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and Shirley Franklin Boulevard. Officers made contact with him and advised him that he couldn't be on this property. It was state property, and he wasn't allowed to loiter there. If he caught him there in the future, he would give him a criminal trespass warning. On 2 days later, on the June 25th, officers observed the defendant back at the location sitting in a walker. And when officers approached him, they asked him to provide his name and date of birth so they can give him a criminal trespass warning. And he refused and proceeded to walk away from officers. He actually kind of stood up from his walker. Officers informed him he could give him the information that they were requesting, or they were going to place him under arrest and bring him to jail. He gave them the name of John Brown and the date of birth of January 12th, 1942. When officers told him to stand by so they could run his information, he left the area again. He was observed a short distance away in front of a church on Shirley Franklin Boulevard, and officers called for backup to assist with approaching him the second time. And then they attempted to arrest him, and he actively resisted arrest by moving his hands and refusing to place his hands behind his back, and further resisting with his body. Officers were able to finally place him into custody. They asked him for his real information, and he provided a date of birth of January 12th, 1953 to officers. And with that information, they were able to confirm his identity as Johnny Lee Brown. The state's recommendation here, Your Honor, is $1,000 surety bond on the obstruction charge and a $780 bond on the criminal trespassing charge, a surety bond. We're asking for no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while the defendant is on bond, and that will be all for the state.
Is there a stay away request, Ms. Harrison, given that that's what started all of this?
Your Honor, the way it was actually written, the officers didn't charge him with criminal trespass, and at that location, I couldn't really determine what it was, because we don't have the actual numbers. So there wasn't a criminal trespass, so I decided to not go with the stay away.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tucker, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm gonna give him a signature bond if you don't have any objection. It will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 on each charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
No objections, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, does he need a social worker visit, Ms. Tucker, to assist him with anything? I'm happy to provide him with some
The
assistance.
location where the incident occurred in front of the Catholic Church, he actually they provide housing assistance, and that's where he receives his mail. So I was
Okay,
actually,
so he has
yeah,
he has a reason for being there.
he does. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
Next is position 4, Mr. Evans.
Good afternoon, Mr. Evans. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003578E with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
14. Out on pretrial for criminal damage to property, second degree. It's 25 PI 003545. 2025 trespass, 23. Trespass NOLO, 2 FTAs from 2023, one from 19, one from 18, one from 17. 2017 battery against a female who was pregnant conviction, and he's homeless.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. On June 24th, officers were dispatched to 2360 Delow Drive in East Point, Georgia. That is Delow Village Apartments. In reference to criminal trespassing, officers arrived on the scene. They met with Ms. Latoya Payne, who stated that a previous tenant by the defendant's name was currently on the property. And she informed officers that he had been previously criminally trespassed from the property on April 29th. And she informed officers that she did have a case number for that case. Officers found the defendant sitting on the steps behind the leasing office. He told officers that he was aware that he had been previously criminally trespassed on April 29th, but he was under the impression that because he went to jail, the criminal trespass was voided. And officers placed him under arrest at that time. Your Honor, the previous criminal trespass from April 29th, case number 25 CR 002503C was before you on May 12th. And a $500 good bond was issued, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact with Ms. Payne, who's the same complainant here, who's the manager of the apartment complex, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. The state's recommendation is a $780 surety bond, stay away from the incident location, no contact with Ms. Payne or any staff of the Low Village Apartments, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay, Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Mr. Evans is 29 years of age. As it's been stated by pretrial services, he is currently homeless. He is an Atlanta native. He's completed his GED. However, he is not currently employed. In regards to the incident location, we have no objections to stay away. However, he was requesting to pick up property from his personal property from the location. Apparently someone took over his old unit there, and I believe he still has property in the unit. So we are requesting a police escort to pick up said property if possible. And we are requesting a signature bond on his behalf due to his circumstances of being homeless as well as unemployed at this time.
Okay. Well, I've seen him before. I told him to stay away from that location before, so I'm not confident that he's going to do so. It's going to be $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Low Village Apartments, which means you cannot go back to those apartments for any reason whatsoever, Mr. Evans. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. The SAP reset date, I believe, is going to be July 10th. If he does have another open criminal trespass, can we put it on that date as well so that we can handle those at that calendar?
May I have the number again, please?
Yes, Ms. Harrison, do you have that other criminal trespass for me?
Yes, Your Honor. It is 25 CR 002503C.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, Mr. Evans.
Please. Next is position 5, Mr. Blaze.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glaze. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003585E with fair evasion, battery, and simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6. History out of Tennessee. 2024 failed to appear. 2014 failed to appear. And he's homeless.
Yes, who's presenting for the state?
I am, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Harrison.
On June 25th, at 2424 Piedmont Road, the Lindbergh Station at Lindbergh MARTA Station, the defendant was observed entering through the fare gate very closely to Chatray Kozistan, who's the victim here. He was actually like piggybacking onto the victim. When the victim stopped, he was pushed down to the ground, causing cuts to his hand. And the defendant was observed not paying for the fare gate as he entered through. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, comply with all MARTA restrictions, no contact with the victim, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and will sound for Mr. Cozart at this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Cozart is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. So, Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Mr. Glaze is 37 years of age. While he is technically homeless, he has been staying at a rooming house for the last few months. He's completed his high school education and he's currently employed at both Mr. Everything Cafe and Two Amigos Restaurant. He's actually very concerned about being let out on bail so that he can return to work. He's trying to get back on his feet and stay off the streets, getting away from homelessness. He has no objections to no contact with the victim. His criminal history mainly consists of driving infractions out of Tennessee. And due to that, we are requesting a signature bond on his behalf.
Ms. Tucker, address to that rooming house for me so that I can give that to pretrial.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Do you have an address for that rooming house? I need to have somewhere that he can get his mail or be contacted.
I can get the address. He did tell me that they don't like for them to use the address, I guess, at the rooming house to receive mail since it's only temporary housing. But I can get that address for you.
Do you have a place where he can receive information?
I will have to ask Mr. Glaze. Are you raising your hand to answer?
Courtroom 2, can you unmute? Thank you. Do you have a place where you can receive mail, sir?
Yes, sir. And I would like to add on a couple more
No.
things.
I don't want you talking about the case or
Can
anything of
you,
that nature. I don't want you to get in any further trouble. I'm trying to make sure that if I do let you out, that you have a place where you can receive notices and where we can get in touch with you. Otherwise, they're going to put a bench warrant out for you and it's going to be difficult. So if you do have a place where you can get mail, I'd like for you to give that to me.
124 Watley Avenue. 124 Watley, WADLY.
And where's that located?
It should be the west side of Atlanta, like the Westlake area.
Okay. So Atlanta.
Mm.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Glaze. Anything further, Ms. Tucker?
No, Your Honor.
For the fear evasion, $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For each of the other charges, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Mr. Cozart. Abide by any existing MARTA restrictions. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Glaze.
Next dispositions, Mr. Howard.
Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003589C with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history?
15, 2025 trespass conviction. That's out of the cab. 2025 failure to appear. 2022 battery DV. 2022 parole violation. 2021 unlawful conduct during 911 call, NOLO. Fleeing an officer from 2015 conviction. Theft conviction from 2015. 2012 cruelty in the second conviction. 2011 trespass conviction.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. On June 21st, officers responded to a call at Family Dollar located at 3031 Main Street. The complainant gave a description of a black male wearing an orange shirt with a white bag thrown over his shoulder. The store manager observed the male placing items in the bag, and video surveillance also captured this incident. Officers were able to observe that video at the scene. They canvassed the area in a marked vehicle and observed the defendant walking down Main Street towards a Taco Pete, and they observed him wearing an orange shirt, blue jeans, and having the white bag hanging over his shoulder. They gave a verbal command for him to stop, looked in the bag, and observed merchandise that was of the Family Dollar. The total of the items was $46.65, Your Honor, and they were described as toiletry items such as toothpaste, lifesavers, gummy sticks, pizza and gummy sticks, I'm sorry, and things of that nature. The state's recommendation here, Your Honor, is $1,000 surety bond, a stay away from the Family Dollar located at 3031 Main Street. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And that'll be all for the state, Your Honor.
McLean, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Howard is 31 years old. He tells me about the FTA is certainly explainable. He's already seen about that parole board matter, and it had to do with that. But I noticed there's something with what I looked up was not dated, so I couldn't tell what it was. So, Your Honor, he has 10th grade education. He works as a laborer on construction crews. And I think the main argument I would have asking for a signature bond in a shoplifting of this nature is that with the gummy bears or the gummies and the pizza sticks and the toothpaste, I would ask the court to look at it as a de minimis matter in terms of the item. But he does have a emergency phone number. He has, although he is homeless at the time, he can get some mail by simply signing up with mail drops such as First Presbyterian. Thank you.
Be $1,000 good bond. I want him to have a social worker visit to assess for BHET or the need for housing. Stay away from that Family Dollar on Main Street. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Howard.
Thank you. Next is position 7, Mr. Moore.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moore. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003579C with disorderly conduct and 3 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6. You got an open robbery by snatch out of Coweta. He's wanted out of Coweta. 2025 probation, 24 probation, 2024 obstruction conviction, shoplifting conviction, 2024. He's homeless too. That's
Mr. Soraka?
Yes, Judge. So this incident took place yesterday at the intersection of 12th Street Northeast and Crescent Avenue Northeast in Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a suspicious person call in reference to a suspicious male who attempted to grab a woman who was walking her dog. The officer upon arrival made contact with the victim, Miss Elisa Loberman, that's Lobermann, who explained that the defendant had approached her at the intersection while she was on her phone, just walking her dog. She stated that the defendant asked her what her name was, and when she said, "Please leave me alone, I'm on the phone," the defendant stated, "I'm going to rape you. I'm going to F the S out of you." The defendant then relocated to a nearby bench as the victim attempted to walk past him to get to her residence. He approached her again, saying, "What's your name? What's your name? Let me talk to you, or I'm going to rape you," and then made a lunging type motion towards her. Scared, Ms. Loberman immediately went to the front lobby of the nearby Atlanta Medical Aesthetics building, located at 77 12th Street in Atlanta, and sought help from the concierge, who was able to call 911. Officers found the defendant on Crescent Avenue, walking towards 11th, and 3 officers made contact with him. The defendant resisted from these officers being handcuffed, stated he hadn't done anything, and refused to fully seat himself in the rear of the patrol car. He exited the rear of the patrol car and tried to flee on foot, at which time he had to be taken to the ground and placed back into the vehicle. A show-up was conducted, and the defendant was identified by the victim. Much like pretrial indicated, the police here also found that the defendant possessed an active warrant for FTA for a robbery case in Coweta, Superior. The defendant, as I said, was arrested. He's currently being held on that open FTA out of Coweta, so you have that. And as pretrial stated, some recent convictions for theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction there. We would sound for the victim when appropriate. We have not yet spoken to Ms. Loberman, but we will continue those efforts at contact. This is terrifying behavior, incredibly concerning. This victim is a random woman whom the defendant found on the street, complete stranger to him. So he poses a risk of harm to the public here. With his active FTA and his open robbery case, he also poses a risk of failing to appear. For these reasons, the state is seeking a $5,000 total surety, $4,500 on the disorderly conduct, and $500 on the willful obstructions. Excuse me, that came out. That should be a $6,000 total surety. 500 on each willful obstruction, as I said, and no further contact with Elisa Loberman. Stay away from Miss Loberman's home and work. Stay away from the intersection of 12th Street and Crescent Avenue in Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Loberman is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. McClain.
Your Honor, Mr. Moore is 29 years old. He has a high school education. He's been in Georgia for over half a decade, so he's pretty local. His mail situation and housing situation is seen to by Ms. Stacy Kelly and Ms. Trish of Miss Trish's last name. But they're his social workers or caseworkers at the Paradise, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, program that helps homeless people at 1605 Peachtree. So I've been in touch with them. I talked to Miss Kelly. and they are very much still going to be doing his social work, his casework. But like I said, he's a high school graduate. He's worked in retail. He's done stocking. He's worked in the warehouse. And we would ask the court to set the bond as low as it possibly can. Thank you.
For the disorderly will be $1,000 good. For each of the other charges, a $500 good. Makes for a total of a $2,500 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Loberman. Stay away from the incident location. He's to continue to work with the social workers to assess for BHET and housing. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Moore.
Next is position 8, Mr. Porter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Porter. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003583H with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
17, yeah, the 2023 failure to appear. That's all I got. I know he has more, but they kind of messed up my file, so I went back to go check on it.
I can-
refer to the state.
I can fill the court in, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Soroka.
There's 17 cycles here, Judge. You have NOLOs to theft by shoplifting, 2 of those in 2015. Conviction for theft by receiving, 2015. Conviction for battery, family violence, and criminal trespass in 2023. And from 2015, you have a robbery and battery case that was null-prost. Subsequently, there have been, in the past 3 years, theft by receiving, felony theft by receiving from 2022 that was dismissed. Theft by shoplifting, 2022, no disposition for that. Theft by shoplifting, 2023, no disposition for that. Criminal trespass, 2023, no disposition for that. Willful obstruction and a theft by shoplifting from 2024 that was dead docketed. Theft by shoplifting, 2 counts, and willful obstruction, that was 2024, disposition not listed for that. He does have that, as pretrial mentioned, that FTA from 2023, and he has 2 open cases in Superior. It's 25 PI 003102, felony theft by taking, misdemeanor theft by taking, willful obstruction, false statements and writings, and 24 PI 003625, criminal damage to property in the second. On the former, he was released on bond for that case on June 7th. This incident took place June 25th, 2025 at 844 Cleveland Avenue, Southwest in Atlanta. It's the Walmart at the location. Law enforcement received an alert that a male had been kicked out of Walmart and given a criminal trespass warning not to enter the store or the premises anymore, and he had returned. Upon arrival, the officer met with Walmart Asset Protection, who explained that it stopped the defendant for shoplifting and had given him a criminal trespass warning approximately 17 days prior. That was on June 8th, which is the day after he got out on that open case I mentioned, which the officer confirmed this. The officer himself was actually familiar with the defendant and stopped that defendant inside Walmart, asking why he was in the store when he shouldn't be, to which he responded that he was shopping. The defendant was then arrested. Given the defendant's history of shoplifting and criminal trespass, there is a risk of reoffense here. And with the 2023 FTA, a risk of failing to appear as well. State is seeking a $1,000 surety on this. Anti-theft course, stay away from Walmart at 844 Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And apologies, nix the anti-theft course. That was a typo there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, Mr. Porter is 34 years old. He has a high school education from one of our local public school system, large high schools. He has been in the warehouse industry for 2 years, in the restaurant industry, a couple of restaurants for 3 years prior to the. He has a stable address with an apartment number, lives with a relative, I believe, and yes. So we would ask the court to consider a signature bond.
All right, it'll be $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Walmart on Cleveland Avenue. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Porter.
Next is position 9, Stowers.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stowers. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003590C with 2 counts of simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second, 2022, driving without a valid license. Dismissed.
Mr. Sirocco?
Yes, Judge, this incident took place yesterday at 1016 Camelot Drive in Atlanta, which is a rooming house. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute call, and upon arrival made contact with the victim in this case, Miss Sonia Fadale, Fadael, who explained that the defendant, who lives at the same residence, had choked her. Miss Fadale explained that the incident occurred after a physical altercation between her son and the defendant over missing items in the house. Miss Fadale stated that she confronted the defendant while he was inside her daughter's room. The defendant and his fiance, Ashley Williams, were leaving the residence through the balcony door there. Sounds like the layout. When there was a confrontation and Miss Fadale was pushed out of the way. The defendant stated he pushed her out of the way. He admitted to pushing her, stating that it was to exit the residence. A juvenile witness, however, explained that he saw Miss Fadale near the defendant and saw the defendant place his hands around Miss Fadale's neck and then push her onto a chair located in the hallway. We've spoken with the victim in this case. She explained that the defendant is a tenant alongside her and her family in the rooming house that houses 6 people. She stated that the rooms where she and the defendant live are downstairs, and you walk into the house where, as you walk into the house, that's where she and her family live. The victim lives in the second room, the defendant lives in the first, and the defendant has been living there for 4 weeks, whereas she and her family have been there for 4 months. She stated that she is afraid of the defendant and that the defendant actually said he was going to kill her. She said she does not want the defendant to come back, is asking for a stay away and for no further contact as well. She confirmed that the defendant choked her and stated that he also struck her down. This was in her daughter's room, as she told police the day of. In describing the choking, she explained that it was difficult for her to breathe, and after she had been pushed, thrown to the ground, she had a pretty significant difficulty getting up. She needed help actually to do so. She believes that the defendant was on drugs, noting that his pupils were extremely dilated. We would ask the court sound for the victim when appropriate. Based on the seriousness of this incident, choking a woman in front of a child, the threats to return to kill her, there is a risk of reoffense here, and we are concerned for Ms. Fadale's safety. So the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety, $1,000 on each count for him to complete FFIB, have no further contact with Ms. Fadale or her family, stay away from the rooming house at 1016 Camelot Drive in Atlanta, and surrender any and all firearms to the sheriff's office. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and we would ask that he be subject to random screens based on what she was saying to us.
If Ms. Fadale is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. It's not a Is this Ms. Fidel?
I don't believe
Yeah.
so, Judge.
Okay. Yes, Mr. McLean.
Thank you. Mr. Stowers is 6, high school graduate, local metro area, adjoining county. He's worked for a moving company, and in working for the moving company, he both drove the truck and unloaded things. He also worked for another company in which he did retail and warehouse work for the same company together, both working in its warehouse, its retail store. I would ask that he has, because he's local and because of his prior history, just being the small matter of the what was it, one before, I think, we would ask the court to consider a signature for this.
Okay, for each charge will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Fidel or her family, stay away from the Camelot Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion if necessary, with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next is position 10, Strowman.
Is this your case, Mr. McLean?
Mr. Stroman, yes, it is, Your Honor.
Do we need to go off the